Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
My son is Richard Matus Jr. He died at Riverside County Jails at Coiber Detention Center. When she came home, we told her. And she's just like, what do you mean? And then she just went to her room. And we sat there with her and she put her head on her pillow. She didn't want to talk to nobody. It was like that for a couple of days. We let her be, because that was how she was taking it. You know, and she could understand. She just spoke to him the night before.
If someone is a pretrial detainee, that means that they haven't been convicted of a crime yet. They are in custody because they cannot afford bail. They are in custody because they are awaiting the resolution of their case. And they are in custody just to wait for their trial.
I have high blood pressure. So he's like, Mom, go take your blood pressure pill. You know, he goes, I don't want nothing to happen to you. That's one of the things he said. And I said, what? I said, what's going on? You know? I wanted to see him before they embalmed him or anything like that and see what kind of bruising or what he looks like. They said no, not until their body is released and the funeral homes pick them up. That's when you're able to see them. There was nothing we could do, no, because they had that policy there.
When someone dies in custody, the sheriff's department takes proactive measures to prevent information going to members of the public, including family members, which then creates a ripple effect of family members not bringing lawsuits because they don't know whether they even have a case, let alone whether to contact an attorney. So by the time that the family member realizes that maybe they should present a lawsuit, then a lot of the claims that could be brought are barred by time limitations.
I'd call all the time to the coroner's office, everything. They wouldn't give me no information at all. So it's like, what do you do? Like, how do you get that information?
So regarding Mr. Matus, they've told you nothing. They've not said whether it was an assault, whether it was drugs, whether it was a suicide, whether he was beaten up by a cop. They have not told you anything?
Nothing whatsoever. And I'll tell you this. The autopsy is being done, but I'll tell you this. I saw Mr. Matus days before he died in custody. He was cognizant, he was assisting in his defense in his case, and he was not known to take drugs.
There's nowhere in any of the reports or anything that we have gotten so far that says how did that happen? Who did it?
Exactly.
And then it says see toxology report, and then cause of death fentanyl. So who gave him the lacerations? Who bruised up his hands? Who gave him who busted his lip open?
His lip was busted open?
He said no foul play. Why was his lip busted open? Explain. But no, there's no transparency.
What is interesting in these cases is that investigators from the sheriff's department are allowed to be there. And many of the times, if you read the coroner's reports more closely, it actually identifies the individuals who were present from the sheriff's department. You have these investigators, these police officers, detectives, who are present during this autopsy, which could or could not influence some of these decisions made by the coroner.
I don't know what they think. There's nothing. They haven't said anything. So I'm not going to just.
I think it's what they know, because they know way more than we know. We're out here. They're inside. They know exactly what's happening.
There's no report as to how those injuries occurred, and everybody that's seen him prior to, he had no injuries.
What do we want? Answers. When do we want them? Now. What do we want? Answers. When do we want them? Now.
It is his constitutional obligation to ensure that his jails are not so dangerous that it causes a record number of deaths in the year of 2022.
People were dying back to back. 4 people died in August of the same month he did.
No more jail death.
No more jail death!
We actually connected with each other as families. Then that was when all of our stories started sounding the same.
Michael Vasquez's family is here as well. Another tragic death. We want justice for Michael. Justice for
So every month we have like a monthly support group meeting with each other. We see where everybody's at with their case. We kind of just like connect and kind of been like a support system to each other. I didn't know the political background of Riverside County, and I feel bad for it now, as I never raised them to be too aware of racism or anything like that. And when we moved up here, it was the first time ever that any of them had ever experienced that. The kids would go to the little park and they'd be like, do you live here? Do you belong here? And then the more I talk to people, they're like, well, yeah, why did you move to Riverside County?
People in custody, people like Richard Matus and those other individuals affected by jail in custody deaths, they're still people. And in fact, they are pre-trial detainees. We all have a presumption of innocence, including those who died in Riverside custody.
If I could talk to him right now, I'd tell him, you know, I love him, we all love him, and we're going to know what happened to him, and we're going to get justice.